Hey, James Bag here. Sorry about the light situation. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I need to do it without natural light, but the sun's going down, so I got to get this footage out and can't seem to figure out a window configuration that doesn't have these bars. Anyway, I'm going to be playing the first level of Metal Slug 7 on the Nintendo DS. Let's fire it up. A little history on the franchise. Metal Slug is a video game where you play as a little army man and you shoot and you stab and you toss grenades at the enemy army men. I think it was developed by this guy named Kazuma Kujo? All right, if you say so. I'm going to pick Marco here because he's the computer genius, and I like to think of myself as a bit of a computer guy, a bit of the Donatello of the group. So the strategy here is I'm going to pretend that these enemies are my in real life enemies. There it is, got the chicken. Now, I like to pretend that this chicken is the chicken from Moana. Interesting case study, that film. Unlike its animated contemporaries, it has two comic relief animals. You start off with the chicken and the pig, but then the pig doesn't make it on the boat, and you won't see him again until the end. Looking at this POW guy strutting around is reminding me of that Canadian couple that got captured by ISIS a couple of years ago. They were kind of chubby, and then they lost all that weight, and they were really beardy. They even had a kid in captivity, and they came back, and then didn't they find out that they were that they had been brainwashed or converted to ISIS ideology? I'm going to pause the game to look this up. Okay, Joshua Boyle and Caitlin Coleman. October 2012. They were in an unsafe part of Afghanistan. They were captured for 5 years. She gave birth to a girl and a second boy. I think she was pregnant when she went in there, and then she got pregnant again. Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm wrong. I think they were both conceived in captivity, but the second one was a miscarriage. RIP. Oh, no, it was not a miscarriage. She says it was intentionally caused by the captors. RIP still. That's brutal. Oh, it says that they were rescued. And that they weren't brainwashed by ISIS. It's my bad. Love a good close quarter kill in this game. I'll take my knife over my pistol any old day. Goes for the rocket launcher and the grenades. I know I burnt about 7 grenades in that bird's nest back there. That's because I don't got time for that bird's nest.
Thank you. Drop shot. Rocket launcher.
Look at the animation on this rocket launcher. Look at the way these missiles kind of hover in the air a little bit before they take off. That kind of attention to detail. You know, a lot's been said about the sprite work on these games, but let me add on to the pile. They're good. Just got a notification on my phone saying that the cop who killed George Floyd has been found guilty. That's a fun little time capsule thing to have happen to you while you're doing voiceover. Being that this is a gaming video, I know that there's a chance that there are people in the audience that might not want to hear this, but I want to make it clear. Black Lives Matter, and I don't have time for Gamergaters. Now, before we continue on, I'm going to show you this section of the game that's new to the Metal Slug series, and that's the combat school. Here you can do training exercises, which I believe are just regular mission levels with different objectives. But you can speak to your drill instructor. It's this young woman named Cynthia, and this is just randomized pages of dialogue of flirtation. This section of the gameplay where you can chat with Cynthia, it's like a dating sim, but without any real gameplay. You just have this virtual character flirt with you. See, this is what's wrong when you, and I don't know if this is a Japanese thing, but this is definitely a problem in North America when you stigmatize masturbation. I think that you get people so horny. Flirtation in the run and gun war games? I'm no Puritan. I've got nothing against dating sims, but this isn't even a dating sim. You should be able to marry her or some. I don't really know what the end game of dating sims look like, but you can't do anything. You just talk to her and you get her to drop a pen and she bends over and you look at her ass and she catches you looking at her ass. But this is all just delivered to you through text, like you're not making these decisions. If there was some kind of role-playing element to it, then maybe, but there's nothing. It's just this shallow horniness. Moving right along, we've got some stuff falling from the ceiling, taking out my enemies. Thanks a lot. Gonna jump in this tank here, if I can just get that right. As you may know, this tank is the namesake of the game. This is the Metal Slug super vehicle. The first iteration of the original Metal Slug was all in-tank gameplay. It wasn't until they received negative feedback that they added the on-foot segments. I wonder if there's a BuzzFeed quiz about what kind of artillery you're best suited to. I don't think I'd be a tank guy. I think I'd be a sniper guy. I bet a lot of people from the modern generations would be snipers because we're living in a drone strike world now. Close quarter combat's for suckers. Listen, I love sticking my knife in someone's gut and feeling their warm blood spill out over my hand as much as the next guy in a virtual setting. Knife guy in the sheets, drone strike guy in the streets. This is the final boss. At risk of belaboring a point, the guy inside this giant worm is none other than the main antagonist of the series, Donald Morton. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't look it up. There is no intro to this game. Maybe it's in the manual. I didn't look. Who's reading manuals? To give myself any context, I had to search the internet. But do you know what I didn't have to use an external resource for? Flirting with Cynthia, my drill sergeant. She's a trad wife. She seems like a little smoke show, no doubt. But that's not why I paid $80 to some guy on eBay. I've got better ways to gratify myself sexually. And yeah, I do wish the pig made it onto the boat in Moana. But I trust the talented writers at Disney to tell me the story that I'm going to enjoy the most. You know, the fans aren't always right. Now, having said all that, I must admit I've not beaten this game yet. I've only played this first mission. Played it about 40 times this week to prep myself for this record. Maybe that Cynthia dialogue will have an integral part to the game. Maybe after I'm done slicing up all these rebels, I'll be slicing myself up a piece of humble pie.
Mission complete!
I've read that this Donald Morton character is supposed to be a parody of Saddam Hussein, but I'm not seeing it. I'm getting more of Dustin Hoffman in Steven Spielberg's Hook. There was this Down syndrome kid in my elementary school who could do a bang-on impersonation of that character. I hate Peter Pan. I don't know. I'm not the one who could do it. That's it. That's the end of the first level. We defeated that mechanical worm. We saw that Donald Morton, our arch nemesis, was inside the worm all along. We should have just stuck around so we could have finished him off. He looked kind of weak there. And then shock troopers from the future came. I'm assuming his troops from the future came to come and back him up, and now we're back in the mess. Well, can't wait for round 2. But I'm not going to be filming that one. That's just for me on my private time. See you later.